Hello and welcome back. In this video, we'll review Rust latest stable 1.93.0. First of all, let's go through the doc to see what we have on offer in the latest stable. But as always in my release review videos, we'll not just simply skim through the doc. We'll also run the changes in Rust Playground with the latest stable 1.93.0 and observe the changes. So without further ado, let's dive into it and let's start. Let's start with our first change of the day. So Rust now bundles musl libc version 1.2.5 for all the musl targets like x86-64, arc-64 unknown, and so on. But why does this matter? And the first reason is better networking. So the musl DNS resolver was improved in 1.2.4 and received some bug fixes in 1.2.5. So the static binaries built with musl should handle large DNS records and recursive name servers more reliably. And the second reason is breaking change. So some legacy symbol removed in musl 1.2.4 were previously used by Rust libc crate. A fix in libc was released long ago and most of ecosystem has updated, so this change is now enabled. And the benefits as an end user you get is if you build a static binary that does DNS lookups with request on Alpine Linux, it should behave more reliably now when deployed. So something like this, if you run to build a static basically get a static build on musl, you should get a more reliable behavior now. And the second change that we have is actually pretty interesting. Something to like about if you have been working with global allocators. So basically, if you have ever worked with custom global allocator in Rust, it had its own limitations. For example, using standard thread local or thread storage or calling the current thread inside your allocator could cause reentrancy bugs. So what exactly is reentrancy? A reentrancy happens when a function is entered again before its previous execution finishes, causing unexpected recursion or basically some corrupted state. And now with this update, Rust lets the global allocator use thread local storage safely by routing some internal operations through the system allocator rather than recursively using the custom one. And what this enables is custom allocators can use thread local state without fear of infinite loops or stack overflows and so on. There won't be an actual before and after for this change where you can easily envision or understand the changes, because most of it is kind of behind the scenes. It just enables you better or reliable approach now where you won't be running into reentrancy problem. And since we have not discussed global allocators on this channel before, so make sure you're subscribed. In a future video, I'll cover global allocator in detail. We'll look into the reentrancy problem and try to run into it, and then we'll see how is it solved in the latest version. So make sure you're subscribed. Let's move to our next change of the day, which is kind of pretty interesting if you are building systems for specific targets or features which should be only allowed on specific targets. Rust inline assembly, the infamous ASM block, is basically used for writing low-level instructions in Rust. Now previously, if you wanted to conditionally include part of an ASM block based on a config like CPU feature or just like the target, you had to duplicate the whole block, like rewrite the whole block for the other target or the feature. But now you can use the CFG config directly to specific assembly statements inside your ASM block, which basically reduce tons of ASM block that you have to manage. Instead, in the one same block you can just add. It's pretty straightforward change, which is basically you can now use the CFG blocks. And that is all the major changes that we have in this release. But as always, at the end we have some stabilized APIs, and there are some interesting ones this time as well. So let's run some of those and understand some of these slice operations as well as vecdq and durations. Let's look at some of these exciting changes. First of all, we have slice as array. So as array is something new here, which helps you get slice to an array, and then some formation without any extra allocation. Then we have duration from nanoseconds. So previously there was no from nanoseconds. And then we have DQ front or DQ back if operations for conditional DQ from front or back of back DQ. And then we have string into raw parts. So let's run these. And as you can see, we are able to successfully get an array, get a formatted answer, duration, pop from front, pop from back, which is right here. Pop from front will give us 1, pop from back will give us 4, as you can see right here based on our condition. And then pop back 4, and we have final vector DQ now as 2 and 3. And then we have raw parts from string. So these are some of those changes that if you try to run in the prior version, you will get some links pointing to some GitHub issues if there have been file, or some feature links if these were previously just a feature to be released for the future. So you can run others changes as well. These are some pretty exciting updates that you get always in Rust in latest release. And at the end, there are some cargo and clippy changes as well. Especially for cargo, there are some exciting additions like cargo clean now support workspace flag to clean artifacts of a workspace member, or cargo tree supports long forms of 4 format variables. So try it out on your end and let me know what do you think about this latest release. And you can also run this command on your local Rust updates table to get the latest 1.93.0 up and running on your machine. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this release review video. If you do, like the video, share with your friends. I'll catch you guys in another video with another interesting topic. Until then, bye bye.